Yeah.
So tonight we're joined by Super-Middleweight sensation Willy Hutchinson, 13-0, 9 knockouts. Thanks for popping in, Willy.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Gold medalist in World Youth Games.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Coming up next, what's next?
I'm boxing on the 27th of March for the Commonwealth and British title against Lennox Clark. So
How's that going to go? How's that going to go?
Listen, it's a step up for me as my professional career. Do you know what I mean? It's probably the biggest test I've had as a professional. So yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to showing my skills and having a good scrap.
How are you finding it in sunny Sheffield?
You know what it is, it's alright.
It's not sunny.
No, it has. It's been sunny the past couple of days, to be honest. The weather's changed a bit, but yeah, listen, it's good. It's good. It's a good gym, and everyone in here pushes each other on. Do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of champions in this gym, and everyone wants to be better than everyone. If we go a run, everyone wants to win that run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we jump the body spine, if you seen me today, I was flying like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I was something different today. No, but it's a good crack. It's good fun with the lads and that. But like I say, we're all pushing each other on and trying to better each other. Yeah.
When you turn pro with a lot of attention, didn't you? Because you turned pro obviously with Ringstar. You turned pro.
Ringstar, Richard Schaefer,
David Day, Shelley Finkel, your manager.
Shelley was manager. Yeah.
How did that come about in the early days?
To be honest with you, there was a scout at the World Championships. I think there was over 500 boxers go to it, and funny enough, I was the only one to get picked out from the scout. And I'm in the fish and chip shop. Do you want me to tell you the whole story about it?
Yeah.
I'm in the fish and chip shop in where I'm from, Lanark. So I'm sat there eating my fish and chips just after the Worlds. Do you know what I mean? Been dieting myself for weeks. Anyways, I'm in this fish and chip shop, and all of a sudden, my phone rings on WhatsApp. I'm thinking of a number from New York. I thought it was so. I wasn't even going to pick it up. I just left it. Next thing, I just thought I'd pick it up, see what it is. Pick up, hey Willy. I thought, who knows this? Do you know what I mean? Anyways, talking to him, and he's telling me who he is, and I'm thinking, I don't have a clue who this man is. So I give him my granddad the phone and says, "Here, speak to that man." So he went out, walked out of the fish and chips. I'm continuing eating my fish and chips. You know what I mean? Thinking,
got to take care of business.
Thinking, I'm eating, I'm starving. Yeah. Anyways, eating me food. All of a sudden, my granddad comes in. He says, "Do you know who was on the phone, my lad?" I said, "I don't have a clue, granddad, who?" He says, "Probably one of the biggest managers of all time." I said, "What you on about?" He's American. He managed Mike Tyson. I thought you're kidding me. I thought he was telling me lies. You know what I mean? No, and it was, and it went from there. And funny enough, I was telling you, the first of the time I met him, it was a week before. Well, the first of the time I ever seen you.
The Klitschko, Joshua
Klitschko. Yeah. I signed my contract with Shelley a week before that, and then we went down back to London for that fight. Yeah.
And were you training in America then?
No. So Freddie Roach, when we went to that fight, I had a speaking with Freddie Roach, and we was maybe thinking of going to America, but things come to wall, and I ended up training with Emmanuel Salas in London, and then I went from him straight to Don, to the Ingle gym.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it did have been a bit of a round the world trip for you, hasn't it?
A bit of a round the world trip, but thank God I'm here now, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy where I am.
This is home.
And this is home. It actually feels like home now. I've been here for a year, and to be honest with you, with the help that I've had off John and his Dom and his brother John, and the things they do for me, I do feel like at home. You know, I do. It feels when I do go home, this feels more home to me now than what it did back at home, Scotland, a bit. You know what I mean?
Obviously, we've heard Dom say he believes you can go the whole way, and Dom's rarely wrong. And say year after year, they produce champion after champion.
Yeah.
How do you feel that adds any pressure to you, or do you embrace it, or do you just?
There's not really any pressure.
Yeah.
Well, to me, do you know what I mean?
It's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Of course it is.
And what better compliment do you want? Do you know what I mean? When someone believes you're going to be world champion, and listen, in my own belief myself, I believe I'm going to become one day, hopefully, one of the biggest stars Britain's ever produced, and that's what I believe I'm going to do. Do you know what I mean? So when I have someone else with a belief of that in me as well, it pushes me on, it drives me more, do you know what I mean? It makes me want to, you know, and especially being in with champions. Listen, I'm nothing just now. I've only had 13 fights, I'm fighting for my first title. Listen, I understand boxing's a very, very hard sport, but I've done it all my life. I've done it since I've been 9-year-old, you know what I mean?
2 of the most prestigious belts, well, in the British and the Commonwealth.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And you, like you say, you made no secret, you wanted to, when Lerone Richards had it, you wanted Lerone Richards.
100%.
So whoever had that British title, it was. But that's obviously one of the most prestigious belts in boxing.
In British boxing,
What would that mean to you? I know you mentioned about your grand and stuff like that. What would that mean to you to have that Lonsdale belt? Would you look then to think, I'll have it for keeps, get it outright? Or
you know what it is? Whatever my team thinks, whatever they think's best for me, I'll literally just listen to them, and whoever they put in front of me, I'll fight. You know what I mean? And that's the God's honest truth. Like you said, the fellow what had the British title in Commonwealth, I was more than happy to fight him. You know what I mean? And if he's moved on now, he's doing what he's going to do, then the next one we're going to have to fight. You know what I mean? And if I do want to fight for it and want to keep the belt, then I'll fight the next one who's behind him, and then I'll fight the next one who's behind him, and however it'll go. And I'm happy to box whoever they put in front of me.
There's a good fight coming up, isn't there? I think with a former opponent of yours. It's Cuban kid David Morello, who's only had he's had less than 5 fights. He's only had 4 fights. He's going to fight a good polarised John Ryder. How do you see that one going?
Yeah, listen, it'll be a good fight. John Ryder's obviously, he's a lot more mature than the Cuban and stuff like that. He's probably had a bit more experience, but I think the Cuban probably will beat John Ryder. And that's not taking it away from John Ryder, do you know what I mean? I hope the lad from Britain wins, do you know what I mean? I'd sooner see him win than this other fella, do you know what I mean?
But you know Morel, right? You've been in.
I know him and I've boxed him,
yeah.
And I think he'll beat John Ryder.
What do you think to him that he's come through so quick? I mean, less than 5 flags. He's 4-0, 3 knockouts, and he's WBC #1 already. That's
right, yeah. I think he's done marvellous for how he's doing and for the fights he's had, but I think he will beat John Ryder. Sorry. I think he will beat...
Told him to turn his phone off. John, you're not looking after him properly. No, you're alright. Only kidding, keep going, you're alright.
So, it is... No.
So, sorry, go on. So, you've shared a ring with Morel.
I've shared a ring with him.
You think he's...
And I think he will
his position as number 1?
In one sense, will beat the man who's going to fight.
Yeah.
But after that, if they keep rushing him, I believe he'll trip up, because I don't believe he's as good as how they want him to be.
Yeah.
But I do think he'll beat John Ryder. It's just what I think.
No, of course, you're entitled to that opinion, really. But you know him as well as anyone.
Yeah.
But you see us both meeting again in the pros and repeat.
I believe both of us will meet again in the pros, and God willing for a world title, and it would be nice to face him again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, as boxing as amateur, we had a great fight, but I bashed him up and done what I needed to do to win. And what I was telling you is before the scene, we both went to the World Championships, and he won them at 81, and I won them at 75, and I only fought him a few months before that. You know what I mean?
So where did you box him then? Was that a different...
I boxed him in Russia.
Right, okay.
I boxed him in Russia. Funny enough, the mini world, it's called the mini world, Nikolai Pakalov tournament. I beat an Armenian, I beat a number 2 seed Russian, I beat the number 1 seed Russian, I beat the Cuban, I got beat off the reigning Kazakh senior world champion now in the finals.
Well, there should be a good fight for British, and if you grab that, you've got to be looking at those type of opponents.
That's right,
If you box at that level amateur,
of course it is,
proven there, so we wish you best of luck,
mate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So, stablemate of yours, Willie?
Yeah.
Liam Williams,
got
a big world title fight that he's been, I think, has he called you out? He hasn't called me out, has he called you out?
No,
he's called
everybody out. Everyone besides anyone.
He's called everyone out, and now he's got it. He's Demetrius Andrade, April 17th. How do you see that one going?
In my eyes, for what I've seen of Liam and how the fella trains, and we actually used to live together. We stayed. We stayed in the same flat. Trust me, we come head to head many a times in that house.
What was that, overcooking or
he's
cleaning?
The angriest man you'll ever meet in your whole days of your life.
Everyone knows that about Liam.
And you brush your teeth, you'll have a problem with it, and that's the good truth for you. We've come head to head a few times. I got a funny. Can I tell you a funny story?
Yeah, definitely.
So now last fight. We're both boxing the same show, So we're in the escalator the day of the fight. The day of the fight, or the day before the fight, was in the escalator, and I was having a laugh with him. Do you know what I mean? I'm chilling, and the next thing we're head to head in the escalator. The day before the fight, it was either the day before the fight, the day of the fight, and Killer from this gym was in the in with us. He went, "Whoa, lads!"
And what was that about? Just anything?
Just something stupid. You know what I mean?
It
was either making weight or something. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? You know, I like to have a laugh. I'll get on his. I'll work him. Do you know what I mean? I'll say things, but he'll want to kill me. And we come head to head, but it made me laugh anyway.
It's good to be in camp together though.
Yeah,
in camp together,
exactly.
like say he's 3 weeks after your
after me,
fight with
and we're in the same camp again.
Yeah.
And I believe, for what I've seen of Liam, I think he could stop Andrade in the later rounds of the fight. I think he's got more than capable, and he's one strong, nasty fella.
What do you think to that fight?
Honestly, you know what, I think we were talking about it in here. And when asked who do I think will be the next British World Champion, I think I said Liam. I think not just because it was looking very like he was finally going to get his shot, but there's no doubt the improvements in him are massive.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Even going up in weight, he looks so much stronger.
Solid,
he looks a different animal, and he's looked fantastic lately. And I think he's waiting to be let off the leash, isn't he?
Yeah.
And his social media is entertaining like he's forever. Every day
he's
giving out, and he really would fight anyone.
You get that impression from him, don't you?
And I
he's the nastiest man I've ever met in my life.
But I see, and he seems in a good place. In a good place. Not long now, 7 weeks. I think he said up.
7 weeks.
Well acclimatised.
Yes,
I think it's going to be in Providence, I think, as well, isn't it?
Right, East Coast.
Which is that sort of his own town, but I don't think Liam Williams is going to be too intimidated by fighting in another fighter's
Does Andrade underestimate him a bit?
Anyone you'd probably say not Liam.
I think Andrade might.
Does he look at those Liam Smith fights, which listen, you know well?
Yeah.
You look at them and
you know what it is. You look at them and he'll think.
Lessons then, Liam Williams.
Trust me, honestly.
Yeah, he's and I think Andrade's been around a long time. There's no doubt, and he's a super talent, and but also he's going to think if I do overlook him, the Canelo payday that goes, doesn't it? So,
and really, in one sense, for that fella, he needs to. If he wants to fight that likes a name, he'll need to beat Liam. And if Liam wants to do what he needs to do in boxing, he's going to have to beat him. So it's. You know what I mean? They're both in that situation.
They've got to do it.
You know what I mean? He's got to do it. It's as simple as that. It's make it or break it, isn't it?
So it's time, prediction time, Willie.
Yeah, I think he'll end up stopping him, or if not, knock him out in under 9 rounds. If it goes past 6, he'll knock him out, and it will go past 6, and I do think it will.
Yeah, not just because of where I'm sat.
No, and it's not just because he's me pal either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. I do genuinely
believe Liam can get. I think Andrade's been an unbelievable champion, but I think Liam's the most live opponent he's been in with for quite some time now, and I believe. It's Liam's time, and I think he might get Andrade late.
And Liam just now, really Liam's in his pumping. He's 28-year-old. He's had some good fights. And listen, you've seen it yourself, the improvements he's made. It's unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Well, if he's always so angry and aggressive, I'm just going to say
he is. He's
I'll just go with you two.
100%, he's the angriest man in boxing.
So it's a unanimous one. We're all going.
Yeah, we're all going
Liam Williams.
Liam.
And you need to let us know what you think coming up soon. Liam Williams versus Demetrius Andrade. Tell us who you think is going to win that one and how.
Another one here from the Ingo gym. He's got his fight day. It looks like May the 1st.
Yeah.
King Galahad versus Jazza Dickens. Gives your take on that, Willie?
Yeah. They fought before, aren't they? They fought before. Listen, it'll be a good fight. Do you know what I mean? It's a world title fight as well. And I would imagine the other fellow will be coming to win as well as much as Barry. But in my eyes, I believe that Barry will beat him, and not just me. I think he'll stop him again, as what he did last time. And that's no disrespect to Jazza, because I've never met him, but loads of people say he's a very nice lad and he can fight for fun, kind of. But I think he's maybe had a bit too many hard fights. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not hard fights, but
he has had a few. I think. Listen,
I seen a picture of him the other day, and he's I don't know.
He's I think he boxed very well in the final with Ryan Walsh. He boxed very well, won't be denied. I was there the night when he beat Lee Wood. He was former led one in this gym, and he wouldn't be denied the night. So there's no denying Jazza's going to bring absolutely everything.
He'll need to. It's make a break in it.
Also, I think you've got, and he's a great lad. Like everyone says about Jazza.
Nice.
You've also got two of the most dedicated
boxers, probably in British boxing.
And so I don't think you can get a bad fight.
No.
I think it might be a chess match at times, but at some point,
I think some point. Go on. Would you?
Yeah, no. At some point, it will sort of. It would just.
What do you truly think of?
We're not getting into predictions yet. Just cool your socks. Just cool your socks.
No, but who can sort of implement their game plan the best? It's going to come down to.
Have you done much training with Barry? Have you gone with him in here?
I live with him. I eat with him. I don't live with him, but literally, it's like living with him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I eat with him every day.
Is he as strong as he say? Have you ever been in there?
He's very strong. As I was telling you, I first ever come to the gym. I was 19. He's Don says, that's enough now, jump out, you've done your part. And he says, come on, if you're a fighter, man, you'd stay in the ring, wouldn't you? He had me in there for about 15, 16 rounds, couldn't breathe, and I couldn't walk for a solid month. My body was black and blue. I couldn't get a massage. My body was that sore, I couldn't get a massage. This little man, if you seen him in the corner shop and he was in front of you and you think, please move out my way, what a shock you'd get. He's a strong, physical, very strong. Little, you know what I mean?
No, look, everybody knows Barry's super dedicated and he absolutely lives.
He's the dedicated boxer I've ever met.
Yeah. So, when it comes to crunch, Crolla, we'll go with you first. Predictions.
Listen, I'm a good mate. I'm I'm mates with Jazza, but I think you've got to meet Barry. You've got to meet Barry, a big favourite going. Listen, I don't know about a big favourite, but I do just, going from the first fight, I believe both have improved. But,
unbelievable since the first ever fought.
Yeah. The opposition, I just believe Barry's much more experienced now from it and a much more rounded fighter over that championship distance. And I just think that could be the difference, but I cannot wait. Like I said, two of the most dedicated professionals in British boxing. They both deserve the riches. Yeah. I hope they get them, but only can be one winner.
And it's Barry for you. That was just a really good long balance. Did you see that? It was just like balancing off fence, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, you've got to meet Barry.
Will it?
Barry. Yeah, Barry.
How do you see a point stoppage?
I think it'll stop him.
Yeah. I mean, I was there at first fight. Were a great fight. They were, Barry were a good few rounds behind at the time, and then he caught him up, and I think it was 10th round he stopped him, walked him onto a great shot. I think they've both massively improved. That's one thing for sure. Jazza's really improved. He's come on. But so Barry's had a couple of really good fights recently. I thought he beat Warrington. The kid be boxed before that for
Eliminator. He boxed his last fight. He were dangerous.
He were really fantastic.
He was dangerous.
PBC. He was that kid. So I think, like you say, I think it might not be explosive and it could be a bit of a chess match, but I think that kind of plays into Barry's hands. So I see Barry winning it by a good few rounds. Yeah. And if you can let us know what you think on that fight, Galahad versus Dickens, tell us who you think wins, how, and how much you're looking forward to it. So a couple of good signings this week for Frank Warren. I don't know if you've seen them. A good stablemate of yours, Callum Johnson, also Zach Parker, just signed light heavyweight, super-middleweight. What do you think to those signings?
I'm just so happy Callum Johnson's fighting again.
What happened there, do you think? Why jump from Matchroom?
I think, listen, obviously, it was well documented. Callum's not been too active.
No.
Joe's managing Callum, and I think he just thought it was the best thing to move Callum Johnson on. And I think that, he started his career with Frank, and he's now saying he's going to finish it with Frank. And, in that light heavyweight division, obviously, I think it's got Yardi, he's got your Lyndon Arthur.
Some big domestic fights there.
There's some big domestics.
And you give him a great shout in those fights, wouldn't you?
Without doubt,
100%. At light heavy, he's the man in Britain.
I have to say the same. I mean, it's hard to me because Lyndon's local to me and he's a mate of mine. But I think going off recent results, you've got to say Callum Johnson, and
you just got to say what it is, isn't it?
I think he's one of them now, and he looks fantastic. He's in the gym. He's just waiting on a date. I imagine he might even fight in the same bill.
Yeah, same bill. Exactly.
Both Scotland internationals.
That's right. Yeah.
So because he won the Commonwealth Games
for
gold
Scotland,
medal, for Scotland. So he's and then the other one, Zach Parker.
And by the way, two of us don't speak Scotch, isn't it? It's a bit like, isn't it? He don't speak Scotch. I'm thinking this fella boxers don't speak Scotch at all.
Listen, both won big gold medals. So
that's right.
Both won a gold medal. That's the main part, isn't it? And Zach Parker, is that a good sign? That's a good sign. Zach's doing everything he needs to do so far.
And listen, he's in mandatory now for the WBO with Billy Joe. Listen, Billy Joe looks like he's going to get Canelo, so I don't know if he's going to fight him anytime soon, but We know he's managed by Neil Marsh. Neil's keen. He'll be pushing those buttons. Like mad, He'll be pushing the right buttons. So we'll see what happens if Canelo Billy Joe happens. If not, there's a great chance Zach and Billy Joe. Listen, it's a big ask.
If Billy Joe and Canelo doesn't happen, Zach's a fight that you think is young, he's up and coming, he's hungry. Do I really want that?
They don't need to travel anywhere. It's here. It's in Britain.
No, I don't think Billy Joe would. I'm not saying he won't beat him, but I just think
he'll chase to something bigger. Of course, understandably.
Do I need that?
But if he can get something bigger, he will fight him. Won't he?
But he were two big signings for Frank. Back into pot. He's at 2 good weights.
Yeah. Something around my weight. Both of them, innit?
Both are possible future opponents.
It is,
Both are possible future opponents.
For me, it is.
So you'll be keeping your eye on them two then, Willie?
Yeah.
Keen eye on those two.
Listen, another person I need to keep focused on is my next fight, this fella. And then I'll worry
about them later
after
on.
After that, innit?
That next target.
Exactly.
We talked about a story, Willie, before it, like any grudges from amateurs, and we talked about Scotland International. I wanted to drop it in there.
Yeah.
He's
Cash Farouk.
Talk to us.
That's right. So when I was about 12-year-old, he comes where my amateur club is where the Scotland headquarters come for the seniors, and I come down to spar one time, and Cash just come. Do you know what I mean? Maybe a handful of fights or whatever. I was about 12. He's about 4 years older than me. So when I was 12, I was the same weight as him when he was 16, and he absolutely punched holes in me. I'm not kidding you, battered me from pillar to post. I remember we home with my dad crying, my eyes don't can't believe what's just happened to me. I said to my dad, I'm going to kill him. When I get bigger, I'm going to do him. A year later, I put on 10 kilo. So we never did come to sparring, you know what I mean? But me and him actually travelled a few places as well together. He's an unbelievable fighter, especially for Scotland.
Does he remind you of that much? What happened, or have you both put it behind?
I'm not sure you put it behind you. No,
I don't think you've moved on, have you yet?
One day.
I'll get him one day. You're getting that.
So lads, big show obviously of the week. Probably one of the biggest upsets for quite a while. Johnny had quite a bit to say on it. Josh Warrington against Lara. He were kind of like bashed up and stopped. I mean, nobody called that. Nobody called it. So I don't know where to start with it really. It was a massive shock that he lost. I thought, could he have been stopped or pulled out earlier? Yeah. And the refereeing, should he have been stopped? I don't know. We'll check on it.
It was a huge upset. No one outside of Lara's team, predicted that. And I think anyone who says they did is lying. But I think that, do you know what? It's hard to say because hindsight's a great thing. And obviously, he was down the night. I remember listening, and it's one of them. Sean Reagan knows Josh, his father, his coach, knows him better than anyone. And you've got to remember two things. And again, with Howard Foster, when he's defence, people go, if it was the way around, that would have been stopped in the form. And it possibly would have been. But you've got to remember, Josh seen as one of the top featherweights in the world. It's a huge favourite. Yeah. It'd be a massive shock. He sort of deserves every chance to continue. And the same with
but there's a fine line out there.
Do you know at the end of the... Because you wouldn't have argued if he got stopped. But with the corner as well, it was like... So it was the fourth, he went down and you thought, he could be pulled here. And I'm sure in hindsight, now if you watch back, I wish I would have pulled him there. But Josh went out on the fifth and he did have success and you think, well, he's going to turn this around now. He's going to turn this around. But obviously it didn't happen.
I just kind of thought, my impression watching it, I thought after that first knockdown, they were badly concussed.
If I'm honest, I agree.
You had a lot to say on that.
One thing I think I got wrong on the night, sort of, was Howard Foster. I think he's a brilliant referee.
Yes.
And I kind of put it on his toes instead of probably more on the corner's toes. And the reason being is because Howard Foster, again, he's a good referee. And sometimes you'll do a call that it's not popular. And you're right, Josh Warrington, he's an established unbeaten world champion. So you're going to give him every chance in the world. The downside was I knew if it was the other way around, Lara wouldn't have had another chance. Yeah. So it's got to be fair. It's got to be an even playing field. That's number one. Number two, when he went back to the corner, it was their responsibility to pull him out. And if you look when he came out for the fifth round, Josh's dad stood in front of him, watched the fight again, stood in front of him, and as he stood in front of him and saying seconds out, his dad's taking his time getting out. So you could see his dad's in two minds whether or not he should let him go out. Yeah. So I totally get it. I'm sorry for throwing Hal Foster under the bus, but But my gripe was, if it was the other way around, he would have stopped Lara.
Yeah.
I think the stoppage itself, I'll tell you what happened there. Josh Warrington started to believe in his own hype. And the responsibility of being a champion, the responsibility of being up there is you respect every opponent that's in there. Josh came out in fight, having a toe-to-toe, having a gunslinging match. Josh is not a banger. So when he's coming out slinging it, thinking, I'll just get rid of this kid, there's no respect there.
I get you, but I feel a bit sorry for Josh in that respect. And I don't know what you think on this, Anne, but I think for Josh, if you think about it from your selfish point of view, so just from his point of view, you were boxing Kanzu in a massive unification, then you're not boxing Kanzu because there's no crowd. Then you are boxing Kanzu and we're doing it without a crowd, so your big unification fight, your dream fight's back on, that like drags on and on and on and on. Well, you're not boxing Kanzu now, you're going to box this, I've got found you this Mexican kid, you can box Lara. Oh, I ain't got that deal done with Galahad, so now you're going to purse bids with Galahad. That goes to purse bids. So then Josh relinquishes title. Then Kanzu comes out. So before that, I think Eddie said, "Don't worry, I'll get you." He said, "I'll get you Kanzu, or I'll get you." Go on, and what other one? Gary Russell. Gary Russell goes on social media and says, "I haven't spoken to him. I'm not doing it." Kanzu said the same thing. So I just think, from Josh's point of view, his head must have been spinning.
And that's show business. And the problem is, when you're fighting, if you are fighting, it's your fight next. You've got a team around you. Josh has got a team around him. This isn't responsibility, it's responsibility. I can remember when I'd be boxing here, I wouldn't get involved in it. I just said, Bren, when I'm fighting, and he does the rest because I trusted him. So I trusted he'd get the best for me, do the best for me. So I didn't get enthralled in the business side of it because I'm a boxer. I'm not a businessman. So if Josh all of a sudden thought he was a businessman as well as a boxer, it's like being bus conductor, bus driver, passenger, and ticket collector. You've got to allocate everybody's job. But I do think Josh will be scarred from that. I do think he's got a lot of explaining. And I'll tell you one thing, I've got to give Kid Galahad, not that he's a gym's mate, I've got to give him respect because he was classy in regards to how he responded.
There was nice touch.
Was classy.
Wished Josh
comment
well.
On it, wished him well.
Fair play.
And I saw a lot of stuff that was being posted on his social media to really get stuck in and try and kick him in the goalies, and he wouldn't have it. He said, "I'm not doing that, man. It's not nice."
What about next? What do you think? He's
talking about a rematch, isn't it? He's saying
that a good idea?
It's done, and
he needs
it's one of them. I think Josh puts it right. Then the big fights are there for him again. But in the fight, I believe it was in the first round, the uppercut.
Yeah, you said.
The jaw was fractured, the eardrum went, and I thought because his balance was all over, and I just thought I don't know, was it shoulder or his elbow? There's another injury,
shoulder,
I just don't know how long they'll take, and it's not ideal as in Josh has been out the ring 15 months, but he lives well, he's always in great shape. So hopefully he puts it right in the rematch, and those big fights are back there again. But obviously,
should he do it immediately, Anne? Should he wait?
I think he's got to do it immediately.
He has it because right now his stock is in his risk of going down. Now, if he don't box him and Lara doesn't box someone else and gets turned over,
they're going
to say
no one's interested in the rematch.
No one's interested. So for Josh, he has to do it regardless if he wants to do it to build his stock back up again and to get that respect. And remember, we saw Joshua do it Anthony Joshua do it when he boxed Ruiz. He underestimated him. And got turned over, and he had to fix it straight away. Josh has got to do the same.
Another big talking point of the night, and Johnny, you've had quite a lot to say again, scoring, not just the fight and how close it was, but the scoring of the Barrett Martinez fight. What did you think?
First of all, with me, I had no problem, not just because he's a mate, I had no problem with Zelford just nicking it, just like I wouldn't have had a problem if it went the other way. I got some stick in the group and amongst people for having Zelford by 1 point. And I'd go, so how did you score it? Kiko got that by a point. So I'm like, if me and you seen a round in a 12-round fight different, or 2 rounds, you would have had it the same. But it was the scorecards, which had it was it 118, 111, 9-3 or something like that. You cannot get your head around that. Like I said, you could have it one either way. It's very, very close. But now we're talking, instead of talking about a great learning fight for Zelford, where he's got Woodland an awful lot. Kiko rolling back the years, because there's a lot of people, me included, who thought Zelf would have got him out of there. It's been just too big sharp for him. And we're talking about judges' scorecards, and listen, I can't say anything other than the 118, 111s was just a mile out and it was terrible.
So that was probably contribute to my outburst in regards to what happened with Josh Warrington and Lara afterwards, because the scoring. If you'd have said one round to anybody, you couldn't have argued. And so you couldn't have argued. The scoring was like, what were you looking at here?
Yeah.
And that's where the boxing board came on some stick, because I thought, what are you doing? I'm a massive fan of the boxing board. Yeah. So the scoring, I think most of us had a round in, or even if a draw happened, and you wouldn't argue. Yeah. So even if you thought one won and the other one, but it was by a round, then you'd get it. The scoring
it's almost like that no matter what happened, he weren't going to win.
That's exactly that. And even Eddie afterwards really stuck it to the board, saying this is why foreign fighters don't come here. Yeah. And it's kind of shooting yourself in the foot, isn't it? Because the officials are going to try and make sure it's a house fight, it's a good fight. Yeah. But we've got to live to fight another day. But I think that night, the board slipped up. I think the board made a mistake. I think they should have, and that's when it sounds like that when you think people need to be held accountable and time to explain what they saw.
Yeah, what they saw when they did it.
How they scored it that way.
But it's overshadowed. It's kind of took. You know what? He's took the shine off it probably for Zelfa as well. But
both
he boxed well, didn't he?
And I think, do you know what? For me, with Zelfa, I always worry. I think fight week, you can see he looks like he's really tight at the weight, but then his last 3-4 rounds, he possibly won. Yeah, so somebody who's really tight at the weight, you don't expect that, do you? Yeah.
But I think with Zelfa, he's a good fighter, but he's not as good as what he thinks he is.
I think Zelfa, he's got all the talent in the world, but I think he's better on the front foot than on the back foot. He's got nice skills, but I like seeing him on the front foot, a bit like his uncle, looking for that left hook. I think sometimes don't try and be too cute, and I'm a massive fan of Zelfa.
I agree with that. That's probably what I meant.
Sometimes don't try and be too cute.
Yeah, he's trying to play cute, but he's actually a good front foot fighter. Yeah. And I remember I was sat next to Adam Booth, and Adam Booth says, why don't you take it to him? And I thought, you're right, and little spats when he took it.
And when he did, he looked in control. Yeah.
Do you think he should do that fight again? I
think he should. I think he should, because I believe Zelfa wins a lot more comfortable next time.
But would he? And what it's about moving forward, and sometimes you think, go away with that one. So I probably wouldn't.
You wouldn't. I would, in the sense that I believe he wins more clear next time, and then it puts to bed the.
If he wins it and wins before 5, 6 rounds or whatever in boxers.
But I do agree with what Johnny says. It is obviously high risk, isn't it?
So David Abernathy against Josh Kelly. What a fight! Was it a shock? I don't think it was a shock. No, I think the manner of defeat. I think Conor Benn got it bang on right. Conor Benn called the round. Conor Benn called the doubts in his head. Without a doubt, you can't. Question Josh Kelly's boxing talent, his hand-foot eye coordination, his ability. Yeah. The only thing you could question was that gut check, and it's saying it in a way that, not saying he's got no guts, what it's saying is it's got to be checked, and he had to learn a harsh lesson there.
I think, like, do you remember he was in New York when he boxed Ray Robinson, wasn't it? And he got caught in a, and I think Josh he's got lovely skills. Over 4 rounds, you'd back him against almost anyone. But I was going with the Ray Robinson. He had him, I wouldn't say it was a gut check, but he fell asleep that second half of the fight, didn't he? And he knew he couldn't do that with David. It was something like that. But my worry was he was so sharp early on. He looked a weight or 2 division bigger than David. And he actually buzzed David as well. But for me, early on, David was making him work so hard. He was landing the backhand, stuck to it, and he sort of, I don't want to say he broke his heart, because he got wobbled as well, Josh. It wasn't like we've seen something that happened the night before where he just walked away. That was never the case. So, and I thought it was a great call by Adam Booth. When I thought a lot of the time we call corners, I thought Adam Booth made a great call, as in that night. We've seen another night with Ryland Charlton's trainer. But I just believe, was it, now hindsight's a great thing, was it too soon? But
but the thing is, looking at what you see with Josh Kelly, and you see how he boxes, you just think, wow, this kid's brilliant. I've only ever been impressed with him. Yeah. And so then you think, you know what, if this kid can take it to the top, just do what he's doing, but take it to the top, his ability wasn't in question. Not even the only thing that was in question was his experience, and he didn't have the experience to ride the storm. Now I gather he's not a massive boxing fan.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're not submerging yourself within our sport, and you see when people have got to dig in deep, when you see and you actually see it and you understand it. If you're not, then all of a sudden when you're in deep like Joshua, you think, you know what? Because when he first went down, it wasn't a knockdown. He was knacking his arms went down to say, "Oh, I've got back up again."
He and you could see his lungs a little, didn't he?
And that's it. So he'll learn from that, because we've got to remember David Hay wasn't as bad. David Hay got turned over against Cole.
Which you said,
great shout. Watching it again.
Watch it all over again. And afterwards, I sent a message to Adam just to say to Josh, look, one loss isn't the end of the world. Remind him. I think
the biggest thing I take away from that night is, like, when I look back on it now, is you picked Josh Kelly and you picked Josh Kelly.
I picked Josh Kelly.
We're
going to run this back. I don't think I did it. We're going to run this back though.
No, run it back.
We're going to run it back.
It's a fact.
I don't think I did pick Josh.
And for fans, it was a fantastic fight. They both went at each other. I think Josh probably. See, it's hard in it because he's so well fancied. How do you drop right back down to a really low level for a few fights? I don't know. People saying he's too much, too young. He's 26, 27.
Yeah, no, and the great amateur career and stuff. And don't forget, he was meant to fight in Sheffield. Was it 18 months ago originally? Yeah. So that you might have said it a little bit then, But I believe. Listen, it's not a shock because although Avanesian was the underdog with the bookies. Just look at his form as of late. Kerman Langera, who no one really wanted to touch, he stops him twice. He then wins again in the first round over in Spain, defending his European title. Josh hadn't been too active, so I don't believe it was a shock at all.
Been at world level as well, and so he knew what he was capable of doing. I think he beat a 44-year-old Shane Mosley. Yes. I understand that when you're having
Box Peterson.
So you look at who he's fought. I think he had the regular WBA regular.
Or interim or something.
So he'd been there. So it was probably easy to ignore that because his style isn't that TV tailored. Whereas Josh, you thought if he comes through, this kid's going to be something special. And then Booth, when he puts his heart and soul and faith into a fighter, he goes full hog. So it's just one of those things.
And I think the one more thing for me was, we're talking, and I said it because people question, was it too soon? Do you know if Josh would have turned that around? Maybe when he buzzed David early in the third or something like that. What a great matchmaking. That's what I mean. And
his heart will never have been checked.
His
guts will never have been checked.
And he was always going to get checked with David Avanesian.
Yeah. But I hope David gets a big fight now and earns a good few quid. Deserve it. Okay, boys, so a few days ago, AJ puts a tweet out about the Tyson Fury fight looking promising. The day later, Tyson Fury says nothing's changed in a year. So, is Tyson playing mind games, or is the truth to that, or are we any nearer to this fight? I'm not being pessimistic. I just think we were all told, weren't we, 12 or 15 months ago, this fight is signed, sealed and done. That is it.
And we knew it wasn't.
So now, we knew it weren't, but now it in. And you kind of think that they've agreed 50-50, want you somewhere. So what's there to argue about?
So to play with words then. So since it was announced 12 months ago, whatever, we've never heard a word from Anthony Joshua about this. Even after he fought when he was... So there's no confirmation from Anthony Joshua. And it was Tyson Fury that shouted, he said, we're on, we're getting it on. So now Anthony Joshua, what was his words? Exciting things to come.
Exciting things to come with our management team.
So we all jump to conclusions and think, yes!
Maybe we just Hugo Boss law.
There you go. So we all jump to conclusions and think, yes, Anthony Joshua spoke now, yes. And it was a good way to grab everybody's attention to what everyone was plugging, what everyone was promoting, whatever. He has never confirmed or denied the position of the fight. So if we want to take that in as though he's talking about the Tyson Fury fight, if Tyson Fury wants to take that in as though he's talking about the fight, so be it. But he got all the cameras there, got everybody listening, and so it's talking about his management company, it's talking about his deal with Hugo Boss. And when he was asked about the Fury fight, just think about what he said. It's all in the words, the devil's in the detail. So he wasn't, when he made that announcement, we all assumed that's what he was leaning towards. But was he? He made it quite clear he wasn't. But now we're making a bigger deal out of something he didn't say.
I still don't think it happens next either way. I'm still standing on that. I still don't think it happens next. So
I change my mind all the time.
I think
sometimes
something else
it's
will
got
happen and
to.
there'll be another
I'm
fight.
thinking June.
Yeah. You think June?
You think June that quick?
I'm thinking June.
No, you'll be
I know Tyson
you'll be
said
the
if
man
it
who
was-
knows, Nelson. I reckon you'll know what's happening.
He said if it happened, it'll be in June and then later on again in the
Yeah.
year they have the rematch. If not, he'll fight before then and he'll fight later in the year. I believe we'll see it this year. I'm just not sure if we see it next.
We need them both to tweet at exactly the same time what's happening, and then we'll know.
Yeah.
So, fellas, a bit of a strange one this week. White Povetkin were a fight we're really looking forward to. It gets delayed a month, and then it's in Gibraltar. Where's that come from?
I was mentioning Dylan out in Portugal. Last things, last training going. He's more than happy out there. I think he's moved lock, stock and barrel there, and he's made it his home.
When they moved out to Spain though to finish training, or are they still in Portugal?
Still in Portugal.
Right, okay.
I don't think he ever had any intention of boxing in the UK, even though we thought it was.
Yeah.
And so when they said there in Gibraltar, to me it's a massive thing for Gibraltar because they've never. What was the last fight they had there? SAS against the IRA.
Yeah, that headline some years ago.
Yeah, so with it being out there, that at least the fight's happening. At least the fight's going on.
And it's not too much longer. It's an extra 3 weeks to wait.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not long.
Which would suit Povetkin. If he had COVID like he said he had COVID,
Gives him that bit longer.
it suits him, gives him that bit longer to get better.
Yeah. Too early to make predictions on that. We need to see what condition I think Povetkin's in and how he's looking.
It is, and I think, like I say, I'm glad the fight's happening and glad there's not such a big length of wait. It's just obviously a strange one over in Gibraltar.
Do they knock it back another month and bring it back if you think they can
with
get
crowds?
in June,
That's
July?
no possibility.
Do they knock it back a bit longer?
I think now they've committed to that, and I imagine a big operation. There's all sorts of TV teams you're going to be going over to Gibraltar to now move it again. I think it happens.
I don't think you have to pass halfway mark.
I'm with you.
In favour of Dylan.
No, that's a big shout. We'll come back to that one on next show.
So, well documented purse bids today. A lot of interest around them between Teofimo Lopez and Cambosis. How did they go?
Bit of a strange one. So I think Aaron bid like a couple of million, Eddie bid a few million, and then Triller blew them all out at water with 6.5 million nearly.
Who the hell is Triller? Who's Triller?
You're not with kids, it's an app. It's an app.
So
that is madness.
Triller, I think this will be the third boxing event because I think the second one, or unless this sounds mad, it looks like it could go on the undercard. Is it Logan or Jake Paul?
Right.
So one of the pound for pound number one fighters in Teofimo Lopez is going to fight on the undercard of one of the Paul brothers. Well, there's a good possibility of that happening. But they was the ones who held the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr.
on the same thing,
Yes, so obviously done huge numbers. If they're bidding that kind of money, then it shows.
Cambosa's had a brilliant result.
He's had the biggest result out of everyone because, don't get me wrong, I mean, Lopez, it's been well documented. I know Bob Arum's been saying how he's not happy, how things have gone there. But I mean, Lopez has had a touch where he's getting more money than he thought. But I think the biggest result has been Cambosis. He's gone whatever he
maybe
thought. He's
grand,
So he's going to get $1 million paycheck.
I do feel sorry for Lee Selby in this.
Yeah, massively.
I thought Lee won that fight.
Come up short,
that could have been him in that position to get that massive payday, which would have obviously set him up for the rest of his life. But this could be. Could we see you against Glenn McCrory on Triller?
Hey, listen.
Would they bid for it?
So Glenn, Glenn a couple of days ago said it's more or less a done deal with him and Roy Jones.
Really?
It's a done deal. So when he's saying that, I'm thinking, and he looks in good. He looks in better, Nick.
Yeah.
But no, it never really won. Who's going to be interesting?
Triller, but listen, if it's a success, then the more big fights go to Triller.
Yeah. Well, they're spending money, and it's good. Look, it's another platform coming in and spending a lot of money.
Fighters are getting well paid for it. Hopefully, like you say, it's just people have their opinions on if it is on the undercard.
It's just people of mine and Johnny's age in it who have to say what is Triller, what's happening. We don't.
Do you know what Triller is?
I do now.
But no, look, it's interesting, isn't it? And we'll keep watching it and see where it ends up.
Okay, big fight of the weekend, Valdez against Bacouch, was it?
Yeah.
It was a massive finish. What did you boys think of it?
1 sec.
I'm going to hold my hands up. Alright, I was just going to admit it. Alright.
I was trying to do it nice and soft and then whack!
No, like a police shooting before I even got my hands up, he's drilled a bit. I got it wrong. I thought, look, they've both been in a lot of tough fights, but I just thought, when he had that fight with Quigg, which was tough, and he got his jaw bust, I thought, you know, the Connolly's bounced back from that and Bacall can really fight. So, yes, I picked the wrong man and you two picked the right man.
Silence is golden. Silence is golden.
But what a fight. I mean, two Mexicans, what a fight.
Unbelievable fight. I think, listen, we were saying it in the build-up. Two elite Mexicans, two elite fighters fighting each other. You was never going to get a bad fight. But Valdez proved so many wrong, and he was saying, you know, after it was nice, and some people would have an opinion, you know, he's jumping about after such an heavy knockout, but I actually, normally I don't like that, but I get it, it was just raw emotion that, and you're seeing there's a lovely scene after it, you know.
Emotion and relief.
Yes, relief, and he sat with Burchell after it, and he can't praise him enough, but he's saying after it, he said, like, idols of mine, you know, Mexican fighters, idols of mine. They didn't think I could do it. They all went against me. So I get the relief and and the punch he picked out. February, I don't know if we'll see a better knockout this year.
No. Good shout, good fight, good knockout.
Great fight. I mean, I think he
Eddie
got called for the celebration a little bit because it was such contrast. So when Laura stopped Warrington, Laura stopped wearing and trying to wave doctors in, whereas he were like, Valdez were like a scopador, weren't he, charging around?
Sometimes, you know, when it comes to things like that, it's a fight that you're not sure of how it's going to turn out. You can't help but you can't help
That's it. It was raw emotion.
You're not thinking about
there's some lovely scenes after the fight.
You're just aghast at what's happened, so you can't blame it.
It was a great fight. We had a weekend, we had two great fights with Kelly Avanesian and Bacall Valdez. So we won one really, aren't we? You haven't pulled
I think I'm 2-1.
Somebody needs to go back through these episodes. You said Kelly.
So as we've seen this week, a fight that's been delayed, a world title fight. Carl Frampton's bid to become a freeweight world champion against Jamel Herring. Has been moved back a month from McGregor over to Dubai. Thoughts?
Strange one, because I thought, even though there's no crowds, I thought if they're going to move it, they may be moving it to when they might get crowds and do it for Calling Island, so it was a bit of a surprise.
It's a massive shame it's not going to Ireland, because can you imagine the turnout?
But you know what, I suppose it's the money. I suppose spending time out there in preparation. I wonder how much time is going to be out there before the...
Well, I've got the lad, Alex Lumagani, one of my fighters, he's sparring Carl for a minute, and I think they are going to have a few weeks out there before it, you know, get acclimatised well. And listen, it'll be a huge event for up there. I'm guessing there will be a louder crowd, but it's just a shame with the travelling support.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if there's no crowd. I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, but even if there's a crowd, it'll be a local crowd. I don't think you're going to get crowds
they won't be able to travel.
But you know what? Some fighters, they struggle to fight without a crowd being there. They struggle, and
I know Carl's done it once already, hasn't he?
I thought it'd be a close fight, and even now I'm not sure who I'd pick. But I think if it's going to a neutral ground, I'd favour Herring, because I think that fight in Ireland with a bit of a crowd would have been a big push on for Carl.
I'm going to go for Carl.
Do you have to pick a winner now, or can I watch a bit more?
We'll come back to that one, but you can let us know who you think wins. Frampton against Herring, all the way from Dubai. Let us know who wins and how they do it.
So for Terence Crawford, Bob Aaron's trying to set up a fight with either Pacquiao or Crawford. Do you think it'll happen?
No, I don't think either will happen, because I don't think he'll pay them what they want to be paid. I think Porter against Crawford's a good fight, but I think I'd heavily favour Crawford. I think just where Porter is in his career, although he's had some great nights. And I think Pacquiao's and this isn't to speak badly of Manny, because of what a fantastic career, but I think he's kind of like looking now for that Ryan Garcia, stupid money, Conor McGregor, stupid money. Does he want to box Terence Crawford?
I rate Terence Crawford so highly, where I put him, in the top few pound for pound fighters for a long time, so I've said he was number one. But no one has an easy night with Sean Porter. No one has an easy night with him. I believe, like you say, timing might be right, where for the first time we might see him get beat clearly.
Manny did a tweet or an interview saying, "I'm happy to fight Crawford, just paying me 45 million."
Listen,
he added that on.
So for Porter, I think Porter is rugged, he's unpredictable. He's a handful for anybody. That's probably the one I'd prefer to see rather than Pacquiao, because I think Pacquiao, you beat a legend if you beat a legend, but if you lose to a legend, then what? You know what I mean? I think that's the one that would be Porter would be more realistic.
I think Manny's probably gutted because he saw that McGregor fight for just stupid money, and he's thinking, well, how can I grab that from somewhere else now?
The fight we want to see in that division, without a doubt, is Crawford versus Spence. But and listen, if Crawford does a good job on Porter, then that makes that fight like the call for that fight even more. You know, the build up, everything about it, common opponents. But
they seem
it's
a million miles apart though, don't they?
No, it's a shame because for me, if I could make one fight in boxing, I think it'd be that.
Yeah. It's a shame as well because they're at that weight, and you look back. I mean, I sometimes mess about on my Twitter and put fights out on my Instagram. You know, like you look back at Earns boxing Duran or Agler against, you know, Sugar Ray or whichever. They all just.
So who
like
do you
each
think
other,
doesn't want that between those two?
Between Crawford and Spence, they're very back and forth, aren't they? They're forever back, but
it's
they're both
saying
the other. It's hard to say which one. Do I believe both fighters? I believe both fighters do want it.
Yeah.
But some are stopping it, whether it be down to promotional ties or what. But I do believe both fighters want it.
They keep telling each other constantly, innit?
Yeah.
Like, it goes through
it's
me.
Non-stop.
You're
it's
on the wrong side of the street. I'm the A side. Is it A and B?
A and B. I think he goes. A and B. Yeah.
You're both there.
Yeah.
It's like Liverpool against Man U in it to win Premier League. Just play and get it on, and let's see who does it. But I don't know. I'm not sure I see either of those two. I don't think they'll generate enough to pay those. Definitely not Manny if he's looking for $45-50 million.
Of course, and Bob Arum, he's come out vocally, obviously, and said, "I'm not going to go bankrupt promoting Terence Crawford." So. Yeah, I don't see those two. I mean, I'm not sure he's Porter tied in with PBC as well.
Yeah, he's still with PBC.
But he's more flexible. Porter's more flexible.
Yes, the more like it's a fight with
or do they look like we spoke about earlier? Is a Manny Pacquiao looking at what they've just paid on that Triller and thinking, wow, what could I get?
Why not? And obviously he's the kind of name that would attract more to the app. So
yeah, we'll see. But like I say, I don't think Manny will happen, and like you say, it's too weird thing towards end now. But
he's going with a big dog. He wants a celebrity.
So if it's not them two, really, you struggle to kind of think where a really meaningful fight is for Crawford, don't you?
No, and that's where it's going to get to a stage where the public are going to demand and accept nothing less than the fight.
He needs a big fight. Crawford needs a big fight.
He does. He needs him and Spence. He needs a Spence Porter, and he's got to get him one of those.